This week we went to see Fruitvale Station, everybody. Yay! Whoop,
Jolly
whoop.
good. Jolly good, that works.
I never know how loud I'm going to get because it's in the moment.
You're all about the moment, aren't you? You've always been about the moments.
Magic moments. Hello and welcome to another Popcorn Club. This week we went to see Fruitvale Station.
I was really looking forward to it going in. It won both the Audience Award and the Grand Jury Prize at Sundance, I think, a couple of years ago now. And so it's kind of been around for a while. I was quite anticipating the film and I was a bit disappointed, I think, ultimately.
It's based on a true story. It's about a guy who's out on New Year's Eve in, I think it's Oakland, California. They're on their way home after being out for New Year's and they're on the subway train and a fight kicks off because someone recognises him for something he'd done in the past, and this sort of, you know, this guy provokes him and they end up in a fight on this crowded subway train on New Year's Eve. The police stop the train, or the BART police is the BART's the name of the train. They stop the police in Fruitvale Station, hence the name of the film, and want to round up all the guys that were involved in the fight to, you know, give them a good ticking off. So they round everyone up out on the station and things get heated and escalate, and essentially the culmination of it is that one of the policemen shoots this guy Oscar, who dies from his injuries. Mm-hmm. And
so what would normally be a spoiler, it's not, because they show I think it's the real footage they show where they say right at the beginning of the film.
If it's not, it's very well made up to look like real footage. I didn't know that much about it and I've done a lot of reading after watching the film. I usually really like films like this where they're true stories. The thing that I didn't like about this film, and I think probably why we're both sort of disappointed, is that they, for something that's quite a compelling story and quite an important story, contemporary story to tell, true life story, at the beginning of the film, they basically, they sort of allude to his bad boy past. They have those flashback scenes in the prison. They also, the very first scene talks about how he's cheated on his girlfriend and, you know, she's trying to forgive him for that. So they obviously allude to the fact that he's not perfect. However, everything else in the events leading up to the actual incident, the climax of the film, the incident in the station, they might as well have strapped a halo around his head because it was just so over-egged in terms of he's just a really nice guy that's on the wrong side of the tracks trying to make his life good. And it's a lot of stuff that I think is fictitious. Like, there's no actual evidence of this ever being happening. So, for example, he saves a dog, or tries to look after a dog that's been run over by the side of the road, and cries over it, and then he goes down to the beach and throws away his weed because he's no longer going to be a drug dealer as of this day, and it all sort of blows away. And and he's just he helps out a customer in a store. Like, there's just so much stuff to be like, this is a good guy, an innocent guy, this should never have happened. Michael B. Jordan, the actor, who I know from The Wire, he's brilliant. Like, he's a brilliant actor and he plays it really, really straight. But unfortunately, what they kind of throw at him just kind of grated on me after a little bit. It was kind of a bit like, all right, I get it, he's good. Like, this is a miscarriage of justice. It should never have happened.
I think the scenes that you were talking about earlier that feel completely fabricated within the film, such as the scene with the dog, and various other ones, they feel like they've been almost solely created by the writer director, and for almost no other reason than just to try and canonize the Oscar's character. But the way that Michael B. Jordan sort of plays the role of Oscar is kind of really realistic, and he plays it completely straight, and it's almost like the two things don't mesh. Those scenes and the way he's playing them are almost completely at odds, and it kind of drags you out of the whole experience. It doesn't feel like a gritty, realistic drama anymore. It feels like, I don't know what it feels like, but it's uncomfortable to watch, and it's almost like they didn't need to be there. You didn't need to. It's almost, those shades of grey are fine in a human being, and it's already a horrific story and a tragedy what happened to him. The end of the film is still fairly powerful, and his story is terrible, and it's a horrible thing that happened, but those scenes throughout this, spread throughout the film really pull you out of the moment and make you feel like you're watching a drama as opposed to something that's...
Yeah, I mean, it felt quite reductive. They were just basically trying to boil it down to Oscar was good, police were bad. There was a couple of moments that we both looked at each other and went, really?
It was the scenes that telegraph the ending, and it's sort of like, well, it's based on a true story. You flagged it at the beginning. We know it's coming. Stop. And again, it's those moments that just completely pull you out of the emotion of the scene. It no longer feels like a real gritty, realistic drama. It feels just like something emotionally manipulative that they're trying to throw at you. And it's just, no, stop it. We're talking about the scene where his mother is telling him to take the train.
So in fairness to that, I know that is something that did happen. His mother did tell him to take the train, but the way the scene was constructed, I think probably was fictitious. They'd written some coloured in some stuff there that probably wasn't there in real life.
And
that she went on and on at him about the train. It was just like, all right, we know you've told him to take the train, and you're going to think that it's your fault that this has happened. And then there was another scene with his daughter when he's putting his daughter to bed before he goes out for the night on New Year's, and she's like, I'm scared, I can hear guns outside. And we were both like, oh God. Yeah. Really, we've already had a lot of lovely footage of him as a great dad and like doting on his daughter. We didn't need him to comfort her about the fact that the gunshots that she can hear are actually fireworks and that she doesn't need to be scared and he'll be back in the morning. It was just like, it's already sad and it didn't need, that just felt like too much. So, in summary, Mustafa.
It's
popcorns.
80% solid, 20% really, really jarring and so uneven that I don't know. I really wanted to like it more, and I just didn't. And so
why Fruitvale Station? Why couldn't you be better?
I think so I think I'd have to give it a 6.
I know. Do you know what? I've been umming and ahhing.
I feel bad about it.
I know. I've been umming and ahhing all morning. It basically feels like they've over-egged the pudding, and it wouldn't have been hard to not do that. They just needed to cut some of that stuff out because Michael B. Jordan would have played it beautifully without all that extra angel saint-like stuff in, and you'd have still felt as sympathetic towards his character as you do at the end, because as you say, it's just the tragedy that it happened, full stop. So yeah, sadly I think I am gonna have to go with 6 as well. So let us know if you've seen Fruitvale Station. Let us know what you think on whether you agree with us or not. If you haven't seen Fruitvale Station, go and see it, because I think it's still worth seeing, even though it's not quite as good as we want it to be. I think it's a good story, good film. And yeah, let us know what you think in the comments below. And what are we seeing next week, Ruff?
Next week we don't know. We haven't worked it out yet, but we will do, surprise. And we might post on Twitter or something. So what you
follow
need to do...
Follow us on the social medias.
Exactly.
Good thinking, Ruff. All of those links are in the description box below. So yeah, follow us on Twitter and Facebook, and as soon as we've figured out what the hell we're doing this week,
we'll let you know.
We'll let you know. Until then, goodbye. Michael B. Good? No, Jordan. No. Go, Michael, go.